Hi and welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. I'm here with Knitting Natter to help you knit with ease, confidence and joy. And we are going to discuss Christmas knitting today, and most importantly, Christmas knitting with ease. Does that sound good? Just let the stress go. Let the busyness of this time of year go. We still have 6 weeks. And as you're watching this, it might actually be less than that. It might be 5 weeks or less, depending on when you find this video. So let's just talk about this, okay? There is a deadline. We know that. And this time of year can be very exciting, not just because there's so much happening, events and switching on lights and carol singing and big bands in the middle of town centres and all sorts of things just happening. These things are happening at this time of year. The shops are so much more busy. There's lots of things to arrange if you are considering hosting, or even if you're just travelling somewhere. It may not be for Christmas, it could be for other events as well. What we're going to do is just look at a few things, okay? So first of all, we have that deadline. There's only so much time left before that. And for some of you, that might be a few days after Christmas. If you gift your gifts, actually present them to people after Christmas. Or it could be 2 weeks before Christmas or any time before Christmas, because that's when you present the gifts to other people at the point of contact. So just be aware of that too. It sounds like very dramatic, there's a deadline, but there actually is a point in time when this gift needs to be finished. So one of the most important things is setting realistic goals. It's easy to say, oh, I know how to knit, I can knit this quickly, I'll put it on my list, and then something happens. Maybe you could have knitted it in less time at a different time of year when everything wasn't just happening all over the place, but this is Christmas. How does that feel? Does it mean that, everything doesn't quite flow so easily, you don't have as much time to knit? Just recognise that. Maybe take one off of your list, look at your list, see whether it's possible, and be kind to yourself if one of them doesn't actually get done, and know that it's easy to go down the road and get some chocolate. It's easy to say to somebody, your gift isn't quite ready, I promise it will be ready for January when it's your birthday. There are people with whom we can say that. And yes, it's not a nice idea for you to say, oh crikey, I've still got this chip, this guilt sat on my shoulder saying, you haven't finished that gift, you haven't finished that present that you were supposed to be giving to someone. Come on, hurry up. We don't want these things lasting until Easter or until the summer holidays. Let's just say you just move that timeline if you need to as you move closer to Christmas. If you have a sister or a partner or someone who's going to say, that's fine, everyone else is first, then have that conversation if you need to closer to the time. We're just trying to remove some stress. We're trying to remove some of the obligation energy, if that is how you feel closer to the time, or even now if you look at the list and you just can't believe how full it is, how much of it you haven't done already. If we look at the time that you do knit, how about you put time 3 times a week, 1 time every day, to knit gifts? And I have mentioned this before here on YouTube. I will put the video below. Knitting time isn't just for gifts at this time of year, it's also for you. I've already mentioned it. As we're knitting gifts, we are knitting for ourselves as well. However, if you feel that you'd like to finish a gift for yourself over Christmas, if you feel that you just want that time when there's no obligation to knit for anyone else, put time in your calendar to say, that's what I'm knitting for me, that day every week, or this time every day, that is when I'm knitting for me, and I'm going to continue with the project that I've already started and I would love to knit for myself. Really add that to your knitting calendar and let that be part of your knitting experience before Christmas. If you feel that can be helpful, then really allow that to happen. Now, one thing I would also suggest is just giving yourself maybe a checklist, maybe a tick chart to say, yay, I'm celebrating that because I finished one of the mittens, or I've finished half of the hat. Tick, tick, tick. Do that kind of thing and it will actually, you'll realise how far you're getting. As you're moving towards Christmas, it can feel like there's all of these things happening. I haven't sewn that one up, I haven't knitted that, I'm halfway through this one, what am I going to do first? Just look at them all and say, actually I've got a really good job going on that one. Actually I've gone so far on this one. That one's amazing, I only need to sew it up. So bring that celebration energy into your knitting as well, so you can actually say, I'm doing really well. And maybe give yourself a week where you just collect everything together and say, is there anything I can finish? So I know that it's done. 3 more rows on that one and a pom-pom and sewing it up, finished. Doing this much with that one will get me to halfway and I will feel that it's more achievable. Finishing this one is just a case of sewing on some buttons. I wish I'd done that when I've actually finished knitting it. Sorted, finished, done. Does that sound good? It's just a case of bringing everything together and looking at the pieces that feel right. Looking at the pieces that feel like they're actually going to work. You want to break it up like that so the larger knits definitely feel achievable and the ones that you've almost finished actually get completed. We need the completion energy as well as the knitting energy towards Christmas. We're actually moving into the energy of the year, which is completion, because it's December, just in about 10 days. So, believe it or not, we're almost there. Let's just move into that and say, yeah, okay, I'm okay with completing something as well. Yeah, okay, let's do that. All right? Now, if there's anything you don't have on your list already that you know you want to knit, you haven't started it yet, make it easy for yourself. Choose the patterns that you've knitted before, choose thicker yarns, choose yarns and stitches and textures that you're comfortable with, that won't be difficult to knit. All of those things will make the movement towards Christmas with your knitting much easier, and that's what we're looking for. Christmas knitting with ease. Yes, ease. You can be confident about it, you can be joyful about it, but let's make it easy. Let's really find out the dominant one at this time of year with that timeline set in front of us. And if you want to add some meaningful touches, then writing a handmade card to go with it, with the laundry instructions for the particular yarn, with a hand knitted with love card perhaps that you've even created or painted or drawn or even bought from a shop. You could download that kind of thing from Etsy. I'm sure there must be digital versions of that and you could just print it off at home. But that sort of thing is an ideal opportunity to just say, there it is, sorted. And that feels an extra bit special. Someone knows that you've knitted it. Someone knows that you've put that care into it. And you know that you've done the very best you can to help people take care of and use and wear what you've knitted. That's what we're after, isn't it? Not just the fact that these will be knitted and these will be gifted, but these will be utilised and worn and loved further down the road as well. Yeah, just those extra touches too. Give yourself even 2 weeks before Christmas to do all of that wrapping if you like, or when you've finished each project, give yourself the completion and mark the moment that you've finished the knit for each person. that can be quite a lovely way to just complete everything before Christmas too, is to just dedicate a little bit of space and have almost like a ritual, the same routine that you go through with every knit that you complete. It's more than enough time to implement that kind of thing now over the next 6 weeks. Do let me know in the comments what you're knitting for Christmas, because I'd love to know what you're doing and which of these ideas that I've given you today you might just implement yourself. I'd love to know how you feel about your Christmas knitting. Is it getting too complex? Is it feeling over the top? Or is it actually feeling really easeful now? Are you feeling that you've done enough? That your knitting is good enough? That's the kind of idea that we want too, don't we? We want to know, actually, I've knitted this. I may see imperfections, but I know it's good enough. We're not going to knit perfect knits. I mean, you buy something from a high street store, it's never perfect. There's very little out there on the market that is absolutely top dollar perfect. We just have to recognise that we are humans, and if we're knitting, there will be slight flaws. There's going to be a stitch that's slightly larger than the others. There's going to be a cable that didn't happen quite at the right time. There's going to be a pom that looks a bit scraggly, but that's the idea. It's supposed to be rustic. That sort of thing is, of course. We want everything to be lovely and perfect, but we're injecting each stitch with love. That's what we're doing. So like I say, do let me in the comments which one of these might be worth implementing yourself. These well thought plans can make knitting a really easeful process and joyful. While you can still enjoy the real world around you without constantly moving around in the Christmas busyness going, I need to get back to my knitting, I need to get back to my knitting. We don't want that. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again soon. And if you would like to step into the Christmas community, you can absolutely do that right now, because the Christmas community is still open if you want to join it. There's lots of videos in there now to help you and inspire you and keep you going. Drop your photos in there. If you have any questions or want to just have a discussion about what it is that you're knitting and how far you're getting, then do go over and join the Christmas community if you would like to. I will drop the link in the comments below. Also, if you would like some new children's patterns ideas, I've just finished these hats and these mittens, and they are in the shop now. I went in the shop last week. I have them in different sizes. So look at that. You can have them in different sizes. And this is such a cutie. It's like for a 3 to 6 year old. And then there's a larger one as well. It's not here, but it's in the other room. I finished the flower yesterday evening while I was watching TV with Nick. So yeah, there are some more children's patterns in the shop, including the ones that we dropped last month. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Happy knitting.